Hello, 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 and welcome, lovely being. You are in the right place. Yes, you are, if you are ready to work with your spiritual godparents. Yes. Today we are going to do some deep channeling, and we're going to see which deities are your spiritual godparents. Remember, I am available for one-on-ones. Don't forget to check out the freebies library, which does include my new free ebook. So, I don't like long intros. If you're ready, and if you are ready to get set, we are going to pick a deity. Feeling called to deity number 1, which is this black bluish cat in this ancient Egyptian tomb. If so, redirect yourself to reading number 1. Maybe instead you are feeling called to Lord Ganesha in this red candle circle offering puja. If so, you are going to redirect yourself to reading number 2. I see it. You're feeling perhaps called to deity number 3, this Pan-like deity that is skipping and dancing through the forest floor. If so, be sure to redirect to reading number 3. All right, our final selection. Is it going to be our cat deity number 1, Lord Ganesha number 2, or Pan number 3? All right, I think that gives us just about enough time. I want to invite you to my Instagram. Make sure that you are joining me there, as well as my second YouTube channel for more behind the scenes action. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with somebody that you love. I'll see you at your reading. Bye. Hey there, number 1. How are you? How you doing? Welcome to your reading. I'm Divine Priestess Ishtar, but you can call me Tiffany. That's fine. Today, we are going to see which deities are your spiritual godparents. They are already here because I already hear stuff clicking and clacking in the background in my kitchen. It was quiet the entire time I sat here in silence, filling the space with white light, filling myself with divine purple light. And the minute that I opened up the reading for you, stuff started like crackling. You know how like appliances will, spark and whatever. It just started. So I'm curious to see, you picked the black cat, or like the bluish black cat. All right. This is not going to be based on a pantheon. So just because this is an ancient Egyptian cat does not mean that you will get an ancient Egyptian deity. We will see. We're going to do this in 3 parts. That's why you see 3 different decks down. The first way we're going to look at this or channel these deities, which are your spiritual godparents, it's going to first be the masculine. Then we're going to look at the feminine, and then we are going to look at some of the things that they gave you. At the end, I wanted to throw in like a random, like whoever comes through, like a chaos message. So that's where I pulled out one of my handy dandy books from my huge occult library. If you want me to do like a library tour ever one day, let me know. I will post it on my second YouTube channel, which is Priestess Ishtar Heals. That is that's going to be where I would post this. But I have a lot of books there that I'm like, I just be sitting on. I'll be forgetting like, oh my gosh, I have this. So we're going to pull a deity from this encyclopedia of spirits. And if you don't have this, definitely get you one. No affiliation. It's just, this is such a good book to have if you are really into your spiritual practitioner work and you want to understand the energies and archetypes as they appear in deity form. Without further ado, number 1, sit back and relax. I'd recommend getting your favorite spiritual note record keeper, because don't take this message lightly. Don't just come and say, oh yeah, this is for fun, shits and giggles. No, this is serious. These are your spiritual godparents. These are the ones that look over your soul, look over your spirit, give you the blessings, help you to learn the lessons. All right, so you probably want to get in good with them, get in good with knowing them. That said, let's call on your angels, ancestors, guardians, and guides of the highest order to step forth to protect the circle so that only messages rooted in divine love, wisdom, and truth are allowed through Ashe, calling on my own as well. Okay, gatekeeper, asking the gatekeepers to open the door. So you do have a spiritual deity. This just to open up the channel, you do have a spiritual deity that acts as a gatekeeper. So I should say a spiritual godparent. So this is a deity that is a gatekeeper deity. All right. So that's the first message that I'm getting. So what they're telling me is that because all of the archetypal energies are kind of the same, but it's about how you identify in your particular like religion. So for some of you, whoever is the gatekeeper being, and if that is tricky for you, then look at the number 3. So whoever is the deity or the god that presides over the number 3. If you're struggling with that in Christianity, it's Christ. Christ is the 3. In, let's say Hinduism, it would be Lord Ganesha. In Yoruban traditions, it would be Papa Legba. If you're looking at not the Holy Trinity, but if you're looking at the divine feminine, then it would be the maid, the maiden, and the crone. Or it would be Hecate, because she kind of embodies all 3. So there is something to do with the resonance of the number 3 and you having a gatekeeper spiritual godparent. So you might notice that you find challenges. They're really kind of difficult to to channel, because they block your access when you don't give discipline to things enough. But they also block people's access to you, I'm hearing people access to you when those people don't apply enough discipline to keep you around in their life. Without further ado, let's channel this message all the way through. Who is the masculine spiritual godparent, or who is the masculine deity that acts as a spiritual godparent for number 1? Let's take this one out. Okay, 6 of Earth. And notice Karma is coming out too. That's what I was feeling. And then I did see Shango. Couple at the bottom. I'm going to be careful with the nudity, because this deck has a lot of it. And I swear to you, I don't even notice when something is nude. I'm like, oh, that's nice. I'm like, oh, wait. There are blank hanging everywhere. I got to cover them up. All right. So Karma. Let's look at Karma first. Masculine deity. This masculine, the karmic one, is one that is older, ancient. This does feel like it might be the gatekeeper one. This is the one that disrupts your nervous system, in particular your stomach. When you have to make a decision, you have upset stomach, or right before you have to go and do something, go on stage. For those of you who are performers, or celebrities who are out there, or not even celebrities, but you're just performers, or you are in a working space. This is not everybody. Just these are channels. We're going into a realm of the gods. So this is not going to be a streamlined, clear, clean message. And I'm not even going to try to make it. I want to give y'all raw what I'm getting. All right. So let's continue. So those of you who are working in workspaces like that require you to be in the forefront. So let's say you present meetings, or you have to be the team huddle leader, or you're a HR and you have to give a presentation to new hires. There's something where you do the speaking, or you have to be in front of everybody, or if you're in a bigger platform, or you're a singer, a writer, a rapper, a performer, an artist of some sort. They're giving me the impression that you, the way that they kind of communicate with you often is through your stomach. So there's like a lot of nervous system activity with this being. That's how they tell you signals. That's how they let you know that they're there, but also like this is the wrong thing or the right thing to do. You should know what that means if you're resonating with that part of the message. Another thing is they're older. This spiritual deity, the spiritual godparent, this is an older deity. They're giving me Saturn impression, but they are much older. They're from a much older realm that came from where I guess Saturn came from. It's not even really Saturn. So they're a part of I guess, I don't even know if you can call it a galaxy, but if you traveled through this part of the Milky Way, he's showing me that if you travel through this part of the Milky Way, what Milky Way? Okay, something with X Xenon 5. I don't even know what that means. Let's try to Google this really quickly. Okay, so this is interesting. I did some Googling, and I will link the article that I found, but I don't really know, have to kind of read through it a little bit, but it seems like there is a galaxy that we just are kind of discovering. We came into, and this is a scientific APS journal physical review article. These are by like actual scientists, not just a rando thing. But it seems that dark matter detectors that utilize liquid xenon have now achieved tone scale targets, giving them sensitivity to all flavors of supernova neutrinos via coherent elastic neutrino nucleus scattering. Okay, so what this is making me feel is like that there was a discovery of some type of new particle called xenon 5, which is basically associated with dark matter. So like we were saying, this is a being that is from before Saturn. So this is a very primordial deity, and perhaps this new supernova neutrino detector that we've just discovered, I'm trying to get the date. Oh, this is from 2016, published November 23rd, 2016. And I'll link the article for y'all. But for this to kind of come up, this makes me feel like this individual, and I apologize that the message is coming through slow. It's very kind of choppy to channel it, but this tells me that this being is telling us that they are dark matter, and maybe that our science has not reached where their galaxy is fully at yet. So maybe that's why the channeling of the name was tricky. So that's one of the male beings. We have here Shango. Okay, so this feels very direct to those of you who do attribute your culture or bloodline to Yoruban tradition, African tradition. I want to say just like African or African indigenous, Black indigenous culture. There is a connection to you and a powerful male deity that does control storms, weather patterns. You can think also along the lines of Thor, not Odin. If we were doing Odin maybe here, but Odin doesn't, no, Odin feels more earthly. This doesn't feel, so it's not Odin, it's more Thor. For those of you who have more, like your heritage and your ancestry is more in relation to like Caucasian bloodline. Another thing that I am sensing for those of you, let's say you don't fall in that like sphere of Caucasian or like Black indigenous, who is the deity that overlooks storms and thunder in your traditions? The masculine form of it, because if there's a feminine, there's usually a masculine. Over time we've created like masculine equivalents. There's a masculine protector energy that is in charge of storms. So for those of you who are into your spiritual practice, and by the way, if you haven't, you might want to watch Let's Spruce Up Your Spell Work. That's such a good channel. Like, it's one of my favorite readings that I did. And we talked a lot about what you should be doing or could be doing in your magical practice to juice it up. And this is at all levels. I don't care if you're like, oh, you're mastered out, you've done everything under the book, there's nothing new you can tell me. I bet you I can tell you in that reading. I bet you I can tell you it in that reading. So it's not really for newbies, but those of you who are novice, intermediate, definitely check that out. I'll also put that link in the description. But I say that to say your spell work is connected to storms. Your spell work is connected to lightning. Your spell work is connected to collecting storm water. Your spell work as the winds pick up. Your spell work is connected to the winds, but that would be more of like Oya. But we're talking about you, and like there's a power that you can draw upon, or you might notice, some of you, that when you get mad, thunderstorms quickly follow. Is that lightning? Oh shit. Is Sheila mad again? Okay. And they're also very protective of you. So if there's ever like a thunderstorm that's happening on a day where it's like very important to you, that's the deity and their power and the mass of their power showing up for you on that day. And you're like, damn, all right, well, shit, we gotta, I didn't know you cared so much. No, I'm being silly right now. What I mean to say is like that, like, try not to look at that as so bad, because they care so much that they're like, no, I'm showing up for your wedding day. Yeah, sorry, I know I'm thunder and rain, but you thought I was gonna miss this? All right, let's get the Six of Earth. Ooh. This masculine deity is a goat a goat deity. This is a goat deity that is more earthbound. It is in an ironic way giving Pan, and Pan is the final masculine, or the final number 3 in this pick a card. But I feel like this goat deity is more connected to like the animal spirit. So this is, and sometimes these deities may not like make sense to us because they might have gotten lost in time and lost in records. But this is a deity that helps you financially. Okay. They help you out with, because we have someone who helps you with your karma, making the right decision and using your power. We have your protector. This is your financial advisor, so to speak. This spiritual godparent, you are incarnated under their financial care, but the lesson that they're teaching you is one that requires you to work very hard for a long period in your life. And you might notice that you are a late financial bloomer. Things come into you with ease later on in your life financially, that things things click for you mathematically, or just what to do financially just a little bit later on. Maybe you had to learn a little harder, work a little harder, do a little more, give a little more. But I feel like the fruits of your labor, they come in, you come to till things later on in life, is where your financial ease comes in, like a magnified form. So let's look at the feminine. So channeling the feminine, and let's do this. So let's look at the feminine deities who are your spiritual godparents. So for number 1, who are the feminine deities that are the spiritual godparents? Ooh, Freya. It's so funny because when I picked out the book the first time and I was like flipping through the pages, Freya came out. So yeah. All right. Honorable mention at the bottom is Bridget. Don't hold back. So your first one we have is Freya. Unleash your adventurous side. Take risks and be daring. I'm kind of getting thrown off because I'm looking at the cat, and I didn't realize that Freya was associated with felines. So that right there is one of the cat associations. It does make me also kind of feel like there is some connection to you with Lyra, like maybe you just have like Lyran strength. Maybe you're really strong. But there's something about you having a celestial connection to Lyra, or that is where your spiritual godparent is, or is from. This feminine spiritual godparent, she helps you with your sexuality. She helps you embrace your, like, you might be really talented in the bedroom, or like skillful. Some would say, like, maybe you're not super talented, but maybe you're skillful. Maybe you do that one thing really good and your lovers love it when you do it, and they try to leave, and even if they get married, they still be like, girl, boy, I still be thinking about that one thing you do that nobody else do. You know that thing you do. Okay, so it might be something like that. It also could be like maybe you really know how to embrace your body, and just embrace your inner sensuality, your seductiveness. Like, you're not someone who's shy about it. You know, you're not afraid to get a little sultry on them, get a little sexy on them. Okay. Let's look at the next one. Mary Magdalene. Ooh. Love yourself, others, in every situation, no matter what the outward appearances may be. Unconditional love. You know, this kind of reminds me, it's interesting because I said earlier, Christ with the number 3 energy and the gatekeeper. And in some ways, people like, this is one form of Mary Magdalene. But there's another form and version of Mary Magdalene where she's not so like pure appearing and innocent. Like, you know, she was in charge of a brothel. Like, you know, her and her women used sexual and sensual, mysticism, the mysticism of sexual arts, and understanding the body through connecting with the lover. They used a lot of those arts as well to channel energies back in that time. We even have it that she was a prostitute in some stories. So there is like, I just say that so that I'm not like trying to paint like this crystal crystal squeaky clean image of just like purity, purity, purity. Like that's great, but the balance is also kind of important. So I want to also say that you have Shango here too. So there's a lot of sensual kind of sexual energy that you might have, and it might be like, it just, if we had to put it astrologically, it would be Scorpio. So there's like a lot of like things that you have about you that is connected to your sexual energy house, tantric energy house. Tantra might be something that benefits you, and how you are channeling that energy, how you are channeling that tantric force or source of power that is within you. I feel like this is what she teaches you how to do. There's like her role, the spiritual godparent in your life, her role is very secretive. It's like you don't see her. If she were a spirit guide, you don't see her appear like everywhere every day, but she's in the quiet pockets of your life that you think when no one's looking, or you think when everybody's turning back, or you think when like, oh, it's just me. Where are my spirit guides? Like she's in those quiet pockets of your life. Like she's not afraid to handle the darker parts of life, like contrary to this. But what I was saying with the Christ energy is that for the Christ energy to come out, and then we now have Mary Magdalene here, it just show me that there is some connection with perhaps those two spiritual godparents just kind of overseeing you, if Christ energy, and also, and not saying that Mary Magdalene is an energy, but in some ways she might be viewed as an ascended master. So working with that ascended master to heal, that's what it is, to heal your sexual health. And for some of you, that sexual health is connected to your fertility, because you have here Ostara as your other spiritual godparent. Ostara is the goddess of fertility, but she's also the goddess of spring, rebirth, and renewal. So this does give me the impression that you have quick resets in your life, that you are someone who may go through a lot of changes quickly. Like I feel like her role is helping you to move forward quickly. Like if you lose your job, then maybe you're not employed for too long, or if you lose a partner, maybe you're not single too long. If your living situation is messed up, like maybe, like I feel like your reset period for hard times, some people, and you're probably saying, well, yeah, everybody's like that, or most people are. No, they're not. Some people, it takes a long time for the next best thing to come in, or the next good thing, or just the next thing to come in, and they stagnate and cycle and repeat. But for you, it feels like that repeat cycle happens kind of quickly. Like it doesn't take too long for the next like good or best thing to come in for you. So I'm going to pull 1 to 2 cards to see just kind of like what are some of the biggest gifts, blessings, or just messages that they want you to know. And then we'll pick that wild card. So we have 3 here. And look, we have 3 at the bottom. Alegba. That's what we said earlier. So again, something with that number 3 in the gatekeeper for you. The element. So one of the blessings in the gifts, or the things that they teach you, is that you are an empath, that they teach you how to use your emotions to be sensitive to situations and sensitive to others, and most importantly, sensitive to yourself. They want you to learn how to influence your environment, not as a manipulative, negative person, but to manipulate your environment to bring more light and more loving intention into it. With dwarves and gnomes, I feel that there is something that connects you to the stars immediately. When you sit under the stars, you are literally under their watch, under their care. You might feel very called often to go camping, or to like movies where people do go camping, whether horror or not, family, doesn't matter. But there's something in connection to you and the celestials. And with this dwarf here, it does make me feel like a pygmy meaning one of the or excuse me, not one of the original people, not the pygmies, but the pygmy people as a people. The smaller people were the original people because they came from under the earth. So it does also give me that you have like jewels and riches. Two things. Crystals are very connected to you working with crystals and tuning them. So if you do crystal work, really charge them under the moon, really know which ones are the solar crystals or stones, and really charge them under the sun, and you're going to see like you're going to magnetize your effects. But the other thing that they're telling me is that there's a lot of like riches that you possess under your skin. Like everyone, like we can say about this too, but there's a lot of wealth that you've not tapped into that's like under the surface for you that they want you to start to look into and condition more. With the five of fire, it feels like it's gonna sound kind of like, oh great, yeah, that's the thing we want, woohoo, but they've given you the gift of perseverance. They really help you to persevere. They help you to not give up. They help you to keep pushing forward. Yes, people give up. Yes, people don't persevere, and sometimes people go through hardships and they can't make it through, and we know what that can look like when people begin to feel thoughts that want to harm themselves. If you are ever feeling that way, never be silent about it. I'll leave a few resources in the description for those of you who are and have been struggling in silence. But I don't really feel that with this group, but because I brought it up, I do feel inclined to provide the resources for it. You're not alone out there. So with that, I just feel like you have this amazing ability to persevere. You have this amazing ability to push through. You have this amazing ability to like know that this struggle, this hardship is only temporary and it will not last for long. And that you tend to, like we said, see how this is falling on Ostara. You tend to have like this quick restart that comes to you. But also look at this, because after everything, I do feel like when we were channeling earlier, the long-term thing for you, not thing, but like in the long term, the thing for you will be sweet rewards. Like you're the person who saved all your tokens and then you cash them in at the end of Chuck E. Cheese or all your tickets. You're doing one big cash out, and yeah, you had to work a long time to get there, but in the end, it's like this is the amount. Like I don't want $5 every week. I want 555 million by the end of the month because you waited. Something to that effect. Not that those numbers are exact. Okay, so let's get your random chaos deity. So how we're going to do this is I'm going to just start all the way from the back of the book. All right, not the glossary section. Here we go. Start from the back of the book, and we're going to just do a quick little shuffle, and then wherever it stops is where our deity is going to be. Before we do that, I want to say thank you so much, number one, for being here. Thank you for bringing your energy and hanging out with me. It's been special. It's been fun. I know this reading was a little bit wonky at sometimes. It felt like that for me. Hopefully it didn't feel like that for you, but it's super difficult channeling these deities and going into the chaos realms, but it's also super fun. So I want to invite you to my Instagram, where we are hanging out behind the scenes. You get to see me a little bit more on camera if you wanted to see what my face looked like. And we do channel the astrological energy. I give astrological guidance every month. It is helping people so much. It is changing lives and people are loving it. So I want to extend a personal invite to you to get down there. Also, don't forget to check out my personal YouTube channel. I've already mentioned it before, so I'll say less. It's going to be a lot more coming down the pipeline. I'll be doing more teaching there. So this is just going to keep remaining as the pick a card channel, but there I'll be doing more teaching and also going live. So that way, those of you who have one-on-one questions about your spiritual practices and what you're doing, especially if you're a healer and you want to like talk to another healer one-on-one, like, girl, what you doing? Like, what we doing out here? That's a good place for you to be. So 2 special invites just for you. Don't forget to check out the freebies libraries as well, or the freebies library, because there's always something being added to it that is actually like really good resources. It's not just bullshit, because everybody got the same stuff. I'm not trying to talk shit, but how everybody got the same stuff right here. Everybody has the same thing. Your deity is right here somewhere. Everybody is offering the same stuff. Oh, join me this, but I want to give you stuff that you guys have never had before. So check it out. And also, I am ready to be working with you one-on-one for bookings. Okay, so we have Kolowisi and Komokwa. Okay, so let's start with Kolowisi. Kolowisi, the origin is Zuni. Kolowisi is the horned serpent. is a plumed water serpent. Kolowisi inhabits every drop of fresh water. Now, didn't we say something about you with water? Okay. Every drop of fresh water. Let's see. Kolowisi is the guardian spirit of all sources of fresh water, including springs, rivers, streams, and rain. Hence, he is the guardian of the source of all life. Kolowisi lives in the underground springs. There we go with that underground, but sometimes emerges to swim in the surface waters, especially ponds and lakes. There are periodic reports of sightings. At his finest, he is a guardian spirit who brings abundance, fertility, prosperity, and good health. If offended or not treated respectfully, Kolowisi causes floods and destructive power of water. Kolowisi is also sometimes credited with saving people from floods, restraining flood waters until people can reach high ground. Once upon a time, according to a Zuni myth, a young girl found a baby by a spring and brought him home, neglecting to mention it to her parents. She put the baby in her bed beside her. Unbeknownst to her, the baby was really Kolowisi in disguise. At night, while she slept, he transformed back into his true form, picked the girl up in his coils as easily as she picked him up as a baby, and returned to his spring with her, keeping her as his wife. Stone fetishes in the form of Kolowisi transmit the power of blessings of water. So stone fetishes in the form of Kolowisi transmit the power and blessings of water. They may be used to spark and ease transformation. I've never heard of stone fetishes. That's why I'm like, They are also used ritually to protect and bless sources of water and bring rain. Kolowisi is considered among the most potent fetish animals. Now, I've not heard that term before. So he's known as a horned feather water snake. And guys, you cannot make this up. Look. He also manifests as lightning. Come on. That is wild. Okay, this Kolowisi, all right, just so you can see it here. We're going to leave this there, number 1. Honestly, this was absolutely wonderful to enjoy. To channel for you. How crazy, right? This is why we do this. Y'all, thank you for joining. Thank you for visiting. And until next time, bye. Number 1, man, oh man. Lovely number 2. Hello. How are you? And welcome to your reading. I'm Divine Priestess Ishtar, but you can call me Tiffany. That's fine. We are going to look at which deities are your spiritual godparents. We're going to do this in 3 ways. It's going to be fun. We're going to look at the masculine energy. Then we're going to look at the feminine energy. Then we're going to look at some of the things they may have anointed you with, gifted you with, protect you from, and how they influence your life. So without further ado, one thing I do want to say, which was really fun with number 1, we are going to do this with you too. We're going to look at the end to just pull maybe like a chaos, like out of nowhere. This is one of my favorite books. I got this from my occult library. So if you're interested I have so many books in that library. So if you want me to give a tour of that library, let me know. But in this book here, Encyclopedia of the Spirits, we're going to see just which being wants to come through rando. We're going to do that at the end. We're going to do that at the end. Without further ado, number 2, let's go ahead and protect the circle so that only messages rooted in divine love, wisdom, and truth are allowed through Ashe, calling forth both yours and my own angels, ancestors, guardians, and guides of the highest order to please step forth and protect the circle so that only messages rooted in divine love, wisdom, and truth are allowed through Ashe. Okay, so let's start with the masculine energy. Number 2, which deities are your spiritual godparents? Starting with the masculine energies. So if no masculine energies come out, that just means that both, you might just have more like feminine godparents. Okay, because the feminine is always the first, then masculine always comes after. When I say that, don't feel like, oh man, I'm slighted, I don't have masculine. It's just feminine creation precedes the masculine creations. There was feminine goddesses before there were the masculine ones. So I just want to say that you're not slighted. Okay. So we have here 1, 2, 3. This is a repeat, so we're going to put that one back. And you have the air element at the bottom. Okay. So the first card that we have down for your masculine energy is the Ace of Air. What was interesting is that when I protected the circle, I did not get any channeled messages. Like, I didn't receive any channels like immediately. So maybe that could be a sign that this group is not as clairaudient, which is okay. That's fine. You might be more clairvoyant, or maybe more clairsentient, claircognizant. But I didn't hear any messages. I didn't really see anything. But as I look at this being here, I do feel like you have a masculine protector. The first the deity that it is they're telling me that they're the ace. They're the high ace. Okay, so what that means is, like, if you're playing cards in a way, they're the most powerful card in the deck. So this gives me like the impression that if we're looking at a pantheon of gods, the god that is the leader. So if we're looking at the most people know Roman gods, then or Greek gods, let's say them, Zeus. Zeus is in charge of the gods. He's the king of the gods. So this does feel like, even though it's just a small little bird, that this being is the king of the gods. It also gives me the impression that one of the ways that they let you know that they are present, they are around, they are involved, they are in your life, is through leaving you feathers, in particular white feathers. I negated to say in the beginning that although you picked a deity, you picked Lord Ganesha as your deity, that does not mean that you will have like this as your spiritual godparent, but it could also mean that it is. So we'll have to see what comes through. But so far I'm channeling that you have a father deity, like the father form of a deity who is the leader of a pantheon who watches over you. And it just, like, they're very silent, they're tight-lipped, they're like, that's all you need to know. Yep, just let them know that I am the high ace, I am the one in charge, I am the highest form, I am the Jehovah. Like, they are the highest of the high. Don't Maxwell got a song like that? It go like you're the highest of the high, and if you don't know, then I'll say it. So yeah, that. See, this isn't more of a feminine, but you know what I feel? Like, this is more of a feminine, like an androgynous being. I do feel like this is a fairy being. Like, this is a being that is, just trying to bring this into focus. Okay, so this is like a being that in particular is from and connected to like more of like the fairy realm, the fae realm. They do feel like they might be elven, and showing me something with the elven trees or oak trees or elven trees. This is a deity that does walk between the portals of tree portals. They live in nature. That's where they're most comfortable. That's where you will find them. That's probably where you find your peace. That's probably where you find that you do the best spell work, the best magic, the best thinking. They are very active in your magical practice. So when you are crafting tools or supplies or things for others, they are very connected to helping you mix those herbs, mix those salts, mix those oils, mix those aromas, mix those stones. Like, they are a very good earth alchemist. They know how to use the earthly metals and woods and like properties, I should say, to alchemize a potent result. Think teas, tinctures, apothecary. If you're not into the spiritual or metaphysical part of stuff, you might be more in like the healing part of it. Even in the kitchen, I'm hearing they help you come up with really good meals in the kitchen. The kitchen is also like the lab, and the lab is also like, like the music lab, like I'm in the lab cooking. This could also be I don't want to push negativity, but some of you who may have dibbled and dabbled in creating street products, your shit hit the best. Okay. And also this is something about making music, making artistry. They help you to really whip things together. This is a very creative deity, and they are androgynous. This is 6 of water. This also feels like an androgynous water being. It feels like this is more of like a male mermaid, or Enki, or like someone from like Enki, or perhaps from a Lumerian line, a Lumerian lineage. I'm trying to listen. One moment. They're saying that like they don't. Okay, so this spiritual godparent, I'm gonna find out like their purpose in your life if they'll reveal that to me. But one thing they are saying is like they don't. This might come a little stubborn, but they don't travel much. Like they're like, look, if you wanna, they don't. They not that they're like being stingy with their energy, but they kind of I guess know that you're so good, you're so protected. But all that aside, they're like, look, if you need me, you know where to find me. You come get me and we'll get it done. They often require you to come to their element. What is their element? The water. What is the water? The biggest, largest body that you are near. So if you're only near like a really large lake, pick the lake over the pond. If you're only near a really large pond, pick the pond over the stream. And if you only got a stream, pick the stream over the bathtub. But their preference is the ocean, because that's the largest body of water on Earth. They also, they do come to you in the subconscious. They visit you at night in your dreams. So they rule the ocean's depths as it connects to the subconscious mind and the dreams, the dream state. When you're dreaming, when you're having those weird, like, what the heck did that mean? If you can even remember them, they are, okay. So in a way I'm hearing Morpheus in a way, but I don't know Morpheus to be connected to water. So it's a little bit of a dance between that, but perhaps this archetype of the energy being present as your spiritual godparent is a blend of Morpheus and also a water deity. Oh no, I just realized that's nudity, y'all. I'm gonna have to blank that out. I told Paul one, I don't be noticing when there be like titties and ass and shit out. I don't know. It's just titties and ass, like stuff like that. I'm not offended by that. Like it's artistry to me. It's not like vulgarities. I would notice it if this was like a pornographic scene and I'm like, oh gosh, this is bad. But it's not. It's art. And like things like this get banned for YouTubers who are tarot readers, but the stuff that I be seeing on YouTube with certain, I'm like, how is she walking around in that modeling? Like this is not modeling. This is softcore porn. But whatever. I'm happy to be here either way. Let's look at the feminine. Enough of my spiel. I just feel like if it's going to be, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Like, let us all be able to like just have stuff all hanging out. And my stuff ain't even hanging out. It's just a card. Okay, I'm sorry, number 2. You're not here for that. Let's go into your feminine godparents. Give me the feminine godparents for number 2, please. Thank you, number 2, for listening. You must be a good listener. So I usually keep my rants to myself because don't nobody want to hear that. Oh my gosh, y'all. Look, Yemaya. So I told you ocean. There's something connected to you with the ocean, with the water. You have Yemaya. And I knew I thought you were gonna get Yemaya in the book. I'm not gonna lie at the end. But her coming out there like kind of confirms for me. And if this is the masculine equivalent, so maybe what I was sensing was Olorun Olorun, some people say, but Olorun. Perhaps that was the form, because Olorun is like the depths of the ocean, and that does represent our subconscious. It also represents our anger, the tidal wave that can happen when we let things build up too much on the inside. So is that something that you tend to do? I'm curious, maybe this lineup here helps you with overcoming stagnant emotions that you kind of I'll let this pass, and then boom, explosion. Or anger issues. It doesn't really feel anger like fire. It feels like you have temperance, but it builds, and then boom, straw, camel, back, broke. We have guiding light Damara. Guiding children Damara. For me to read that as a guiding light, you must be a guiding light to children. You are good at helping, counseling, and healing children. Use your skills to help children now. This is how I'm interpreting it. You might be good at those things also, but I interpret it as you have a very protective, oh yeah, I heard 2 beeps in the background. Usually it's just 1. You have a very protective, feminine, like mother, godparent. She's a spiritual godparent. She's very protective of you. And I'm not talking like most of them are protective, but you know how I said with this entity, it's like, yeah, you got to come to me. I'll see you at nighttime in the dream realm. Like they're not like riding you all day, making sure like, oh no, put your seatbelt on. Like if we had to put this in a form of like human, this is like maybe a helicopter mom. Or maybe like a mom that's a little bit overbearing. You're like, Mom, okay, you don't have to lick your finger. I'll wipe it off. I'll wipe off the tomato sauce myself. Oh, I got it, Mom. And I don't mean it to like be like it's that much, but she's that close. She's like up, around and down everywhere you do. What are you doing? Okay, where are you going? What time are you gonna be back? Who are you gonna be with? Who's driving? Who's picking you up? What is the place? Okay, their parents are going to be home. Okay, is there going to be boys there? Okay, there are going to be girls there. Okay, how much money you need? Okay, how much money is it cost? Like, and you might find yourself to be like a little bit anal in your plans, whether as you are as a parent or just in your own self. Like, okay, no, before I do anything, girl, who going to be there? And who all going to be there? All right, what we doing? Who's going? Who's driving? You might find yourself like that. And that's probably the presence of this feminine figure coming through for you when you are. Let's look at Genevieve. True love. The romantic stirrings in your heart have propelled the universe to deliver great love to you. Let's listen. Let's see. Similar to number 1, but a little bit less on the sultry, sexy, sensual side. You do really good, like with how you clean up. You clean up well. You look really good. This is a spiritual god. This is interesting. This is a spiritual godparent that was actually alive. So you can say in a way it was an ascended master, but I don't know if this is what she would call it. But she was alive. She lived as a queen. I think Genevieve was a queen, but she lived as a queen. Yeah, she lived as like she was like one of those wealthy, beautiful queens, and her soul right now is at a place where she's reached, excuse me if this was out of focus, I was channeling, but her soul has reached a place in the God realm where she's able to decide if she wants to come back. So it's kind of like Kuan Yin. If you ever research the story of Kuan Yin, she's in association with she was human and she felt so bad for human beings, or she's a deity, excuse me, she feels so bad for human beings that she comes back and in particular helps certain human beings, in particular women and children, with compassion and healing their heart and trauma and pain. So this is kind of like similar, but not really so much with the compassion, more so with like beauty and self-beautification, really knowing how to make yourself and things and individuals around you more beautiful. I don't mean to make this sound vain, but we like beautiful things to look at. Even if things are so grotesque and ugly, they are beautiful, at least to me. I think like sometimes the most grotesque things are somehow the most beautiful. I don't know. So I think there's a essence or influence on what you do. If you're in art, this is a great and then they say you can like use your skills and gifts to help children. Now maybe you do like work with art with children or something. I'm not trying to channel what you do, just want to kind of get you who your spiritual godparents are, so you know who like you're working with. But they seem, this is one who seems to have been like very into being beautiful, being poised, being graceful, running power, like if she was in charge of a castle, like she used integrity and just principle. Like this is a lot of dignification. So she really supports you with those principles, like those factors: being dignified, presenting well, cleaning up well, making your home feel clean and livable for others, for yourself, making you and others feel welcomed, very generous, well gestured, well mannered, well intent. That's what I'm feeling she has for you, and like her vibe. When you're in that feeling and that move, if you have those characteristics, that's a lot of that's influenced from her vibe. Ooh, Pele. Okay. You have a lot of bare breast figures coming out. You had Yemaya, you had the Six of Water, and now we have Pele here, who's like kind of to the side. So I'm able to get away with this here. But be honest with yourself. What is your heart's true desire? I feel like Pele's, there is something in connection. Didn't we say about like your emotional? I'm hearing the word rage. And I don't mean this in a bad way. Do you rage sometimes? Like, do you have emotional rages? Do you have like these points where you have to like let something out, whether you do it in the bedroom and you and your partner have really aggressive intimacy sessions, or you, some of y'all are doing that. I can see it. I can see it. But others of you, is it that like you just explode sometimes? Like you just take it on so much and you just explode? That has something to do with Pele. Like there's a primal rhythm that is within you. There's who's Polynesian here? But there's a primal rhythm that's in you. New Zealand, Polynesia, like just, even Hawaii too. But I'll be honest, I know Hawaii is like near the Polynesians, but I really feel like it's more so New Zealand and Polynesia, where like you're getting, like there's a part of you, like when you look at those, I think it's called the Haka, and excuse me, I do not mean to mispronounce or misstate anyone's cultural name for their traditions, but the Haka, like that tribal call, salute to the ancestors. It's gruntal. It's to the earth. It's very like you can like really like draw up energy. Sometimes like when I'm in certain prayers, it makes me like that. It makes me animalistic. Okay, it can make me feel like that's a part of the shamanism gift, or I guess practice. For others of you, it's when, let's give you another example. Those of you who are into voodoo or know about voodoo, when someone can go into trance, and you can just be at a voodoo ceremony and somebody will just go into a trance, like just out of nowhere, they'll just go into a trance. So there are things in you that she helps you to release, and she wants you to do it in a more controlled manner, so that way it doesn't happen in manners where you're not in control of the rage. There's nothing wrong with rage. It's just rage is good in battle, right? Rage is good when you have to defend and fight, but rage is, and even then maybe not full rage, because you still need some type of degree of focus, but there's some type of release. It's in the hips, it's in the chest, it's ancestral. Don't let no one tell you you're too angry, you're too this. It's just misdirected. I wonder what it would look like if you found something that would nurture the physicality, that animal part of you that loves to play. Ooh, yeah. So let's look at some of the qualities, and I apologize if that was out of focus, but let's look at some of the things that they've given you, bestowed you with gifts, and then we'll look at the book to see which random or chaotic being wants to come through. Just rando. So what does number 2, what do they inherit from their spiritual godparents? What do they inherit? You have another bare-breasted person. You're not living your life in the most truthful fashion. You're probably like, bitch, you don't know me. I don't. You're right. And that's okay. You can call me bitch because I'm from the dog star. Oof, oof. But what I really mean is like, you you're not being like totally honest with yourself. It could be like a relationship that you're living a lie in, or it could be like a job that you know is not the job you should be at, bruh. Or it's a neighborhood. You're like, yo, this neighborhood is not for me. There's too many people. There's too many people like that. There's too many people like this of this religion, and I'm the only person like this, and I'm always getting hate crimes. Like, there's something that's a lot of resistance that's not compatible with you, or like you're just not putting yourself fully out there. You're not being fully vulnerable within your connections, fully vulnerable within your relationships. And this is not even supposed to be a read, but this is like, I guess, your spiritual godparents telling you about yourself a little bit. Not me. I don't know you. You gotta know that. But I'm here to help you and give you this message. And they're saying that like they want you to put your, like, that's probably what the animalism, and that's probably what the rage, if you ever do raging, that's probably what all of that is connected to. Because it's like you really want to live your life more like free. And I say that because of the star card here, but I have to like block her out. You really want to live your life a lot more free, but you're just not doing that. There's something that's resisting you. So one of the things that they've given you is, they're giving you the blessing. You're like, okay, the blessing to do what? To do you. Like, you have the blessing to do you. Damn, pile number 2. I wish somebody told me like, you can just do you, and whatever you're going to do is going to be good. Really? So I can do anything. Let's not get carried away with anything, but yeah, anything. You know, let's try not to harm others. But this is like, they're like, you can just do you. Like, just live, do you, step out there, get out there, and, you know, like they really want you to move more into like a starlight, more of a spotlight, more into like us, like somewhere where you're not able to continuously hide. We have here the 3 of Swords. This message here is a bit sensitive, because it's like they've been really by your side, really observing a very difficult circumstance or like patch. They're saying it was a patch. You went through a rough patch. I'm not going to name the type of things it was, because that's not what this reading is, and I'll start channeling that for hours. But I will say that like this rough patch, they're like, we've been right there with you, and they've saw how your heart has like broken. It's like if you ever watch Jason and the Argonauts or the Odyssey, sometimes the gods choose to get involved and sometimes the gods choose not to get involved. So it's almost as if you were Odysseus on the Odyssey and you were choosing and the gods had to like step back. These spiritual godparents had to step back and kind of let you go through this hardship, because your soul, I mean, we're talking about spiritual deities and godparents, but your soul is supreme. Okay, I'm gonna say that again for people in the back that I might have lost their attention. Your soul is supreme. The spiritual deities do not have ownership or veneration over you. You are in charge of your own Ori, and your soul is supreme. So your light annexes with their light, but they are not your master. So I say that to say, like, if they felt like they weren't there for you, it wasn't because they weren't. It's because your soul said, let me learn this the hard way. Let me go through this. Because I need to collect to expand this light in my next lifetime. That's deep. 10 of Cups. They're giving you the happy ending that you want with your family. If you were divorced, if you felt like you never get together again with somebody, if you'll never find somebody, if you have nobody, like you'll never find your community, you'll never find people that just fucking get you. You're like, it's not possible. You'll never find your tribe. You'll never find your place in a work environment where you're not getting teased or bullied or like snickered at because you said this word the wrong way, or like maybe your numbers aren't the numbers like everybody else. You're getting the happy ending. They're like, your cycle is actually at the like you're approaching your exit. You're on the highway. You hit exit 99 or you hit exit 9. Okay, you're about to hit exit number 10. We're about to be at exit 10. Yeah, we're about to be there. You've hit this, you're at the last stop of your cycle, and it's something that's going to help the family, help you with connecting to ideas, ideals, understandings of what family feels like. Because with this 3 of Swords, I have a feeling that maybe you lost what family is. Not you lost it because something you're doing. The circumstances in life cause you to lose hope. Okay. But hope now restored. Wow. And they've given you a remarkable, and I was going to say this before when I saw the Three of Swords, I'm like, oh, they gave you a lot of strength in this lifetime. And I'm like, oh, that sounds cheesy. Let me not say that, but confirmed here. They've given you a substantial amount of strength. Like a lot of strength in this lifetime to kind of persevere and traverse what it is that you have to get through. The strength that they've given you is, just trying to get it into focus. There we go. The strength that they've given you is one that they knew that you would need in this lifetime to transform and alchemize out of a dark situation. This rough patch that you went through, the strength that you have, it would have, if you didn't have that strength, even though it felt like they weren't around, if Odysseus wasn't as strong as he was, he would not have made it back to Penelope. If you were not as strong as you were, you would not have made it out on the other side. Okay? You are very, very strong. You are stronger than you let yourself believe that you are, or that you know that you are. You are supremely strong. You are emotionally stronger and more emotionally fortified, regardless of sometimes how your outbursts might look, than most. Because don't nobody know what you've been through. Okay? They don't know. They just don't know. They don't know about this here. Don't listen to what people say. They don't know about you and me. So we're going to now pull from our Encyclopedia of Spirits. And we are going to get a deity. We're going to go all the way from the back. And we're going to, here we go, back of the book. And we're just going to shuffle and stop at a certain point and see who we land on, because I'm curious. All right, so number 2, let's begin. And stop right here. Okay, so there's someone in there for you, and we're going to read that in just a second. Before we read that, I do want to say thank you so much, number 2, for being here. I love doing these readings. So if you're loving them too, let me know in the comments. Make sure you like, subscribe. I also want to invite you over to my secondary YouTube channel, which is Priestess Ishtar Heals, where I am teaching and I'm stepping a little bit more from behind the camera. So you'll get to see me a little bit more. Also in my YouTube, every month we are channeling astrological energy updates. We're also looking at the global energy updates, and I'm teaching you how to do the resets there, the energetic resets internally, so that way we can really step into our greatness, because your greatness is calling you. All right, so number 2, without further ado, check out my Instagram, check out my second YouTube channel, and don't forget the freebies section. Yes, I am available to work one-on-one if interested. Who is your deity? So number 2, let's go ahead and pick your, I feel like right here, so we have Firuan. So this is a Thailand being, or a Thailand spirit. It's called the house ghost. All right. Not all ghosts are dangerous or troublesome. Some are friendly, helpful, and protective. Firuan are ghosts of deceased family members who reside in the homes of living relatives, where they serve as guardian spirits. Wait, did you have... That kind of makes me feel like this was like a guardian spirit. Let's keep going. I don't want to stretch it. The Firuan is usually assigned a special spot in the home, typically atop a high shelf against an inner wall in the heart of the home. The Firuan moves through the home or wherever it wishes, but this is the equivalent of their room or personal space. Offerings placed here is where the Firuan is formally addressed when its help or guidance is needed. The Firuan is responsible for guarding the family's well-being and interests. Didn't we say something about the family is returning, right? And that you, with Genevieve, you make a home really good. You make things beautiful. You make a house and a home really nice. Perhaps you have an ancestral spirit that's really close to you that you know that you work through. Somebody just said, like, yeah, I know who's that. She's my mother, my grandmother, my aunt. Somebody's like always in my house, my father. Like, there's somebody like that. It says here the Fihuan is responsible for guarding the family's well-being and interests. As the family's representative from the other side, it protects against malicious spirits and spiritual attacks. Its help may be requested in times of illness, financial difficulty, or stress, such as before marriage proposals or job interviews. Some of the offerings include fresh flowers, candles, incense, food and beverages your family enjoys, and a portion of whatever everyone else is eating. This gives the impression of strong ancestral connections, strong ancestral ties, and someone who's really into their ancestral veneration and ancestral work. Number 2, is that you? You gotta let me know in the comments. If you're ever interested in learning how to work more with your ancestors, book a spiritual consultation with me. I promise you, it'll be like one you've never had before. We're gonna get you right. Number 2, it's been a pleasure hosting you. Thank you for joining in. Until next time, bye. Hello, number 3. Welcome. You are in the right place. I think you are ready to find out which deity is your spiritual godparent. These readings have been interesting and also quite different. We're going to approach this uniquely. So first off, we are going to look at the spiritual masculine deities that you might be in connection to in that spiritual realm. Then we're going to look at the spiritual feminine deities. Then from there, we're going to, with another deck, look into some of the gifts, blessings, or some of the things that you kind of are inheriting from being in connection with these spiritual godparents. So without further ado, let's begin. Like, the first thing I must say is my nose it just got so freaking itchy. I had to stop it. I don't know, like that could mean a lot of different things, but like, again, I paused the recording to rub my nose, and now again I restarted it and my nose is so itchy. Okay, so number 3, let's call on your angels, your ancestors, guardians, and guides. Are you nosy? Are you a nosy person? No, I'm joking. Let's call on your angels, ancestors, guardians, and guides of the highest order to please step forth to protect the circle so that only messages rooted in divine love, wisdom, and truth are allowed through. Ashe. Okay, so they are showing me horns. They are showing me a bull. They're showing me horns and a bull. So this gives me the impression that this is a group where you have a lot of strength and mental strength. So you might have a like a strong deal of, like, you might have a really good command on how to manipulate energy. So whether it's energetic impressions in circumstances, and I know I'm speaking weird, but that's the way it's coming through, very cerebral. There's something about your mentality. I feel like you are either someone who is into psychology, you might be a psychologist, you've studied the mind, you understand how the mind works for others. This does feel a little bit on the darker shadow end, I must say. I mean, I don't mean shadow in a bad way. I mean, and 222 on the original timer when I said that, so I'm getting somewhere with this. It feels like darker in the sense where we're in the subconscious. We're not in like the bright conscious part of the mind where we know what we're doing and we're projecting this through with clarity, and we are aware with fullness. This feels like something that is hidden that you do. It's subversive and it's quite influential, and it is a way that you manipulate energy, you manipulate people, you manipulate outcomes, you manipulate circumstances, and we all have this ability as creators. But it's as if you've mastered doing something with the subconscious programming. So you may have a system that you use that like you might do certain manifestation techniques that you figured out, click, click, click. This is exactly how my subconscious wants to, this is exactly how my manifestations want to respond to my subconscious. So I feel like you've really mastered a dark arts manifestation technique, and it's all through your mind, all through your mentality. You know, you might be the person that sits in dark rooms or dark spaces and uses the darkness to manifest versus the sunlight or bright light. Okay, so that's the first channel that I'm getting, and if you're like, that's not really me, maybe it's not yet, or maybe that is something that if you were to study it and pursue like what shadow magic is, or shadow manifestation techniques, or subconscious, because that's what shadow is. It's just subconscious. When we hear shadow, we're like, it's just the subconscious. It's like, what is hidden in that mind? What's in the hidden realm of your own mind? And yeah, that shit can be scary. It can be when we start to scratch past that surface, but it's not that scary when you can get a hold of what it is that you fear to introduce yourself to. Because that big scary monster is just like Monsters Inc. It's usually more scared of you, or it's usually not as big as you thought it was. So something with shadow work. Number 3 is, let's get some cards. Maybe your godparents are from more of the shadow realms. I mean, you did pick Pan. And again, just because you picked the deity doesn't mean that that's your deity. I just picked images. So this is like the Pan deity. This is pandemonium also. If you're going to more of like the nature deities, we have satyrs. Okay, they are very promiscuous. They have a lot of a very, I should say, high libido. So they like to fucking frolic. Oh my gosh, excuse me. But yeah, satyrs, okay, they hang out with the nymphs and in the grottos, in the forest, and they really have a high activity in that. So I'm not saying that that's you. Maybe that is you, and there's no shame. Like, why do we shame sexual energy so much? It's how all of us got here. Do you know somebody who was, and when I say, don't say Jesus Christ. Yeah, okay, we know that story. But do you know personally someone that got here without sexual energy? Even if it was done in a petri dish, something had to produce that explosion to get that creation here. So there is something about your deities that they're okay with vulgarity, they're okay with sexuality, they're okay with exploring, again, like the darker, more taboo side of humanity, the more taboo side of human nature and of spirituality, because there is some of the strongest, most potent magic that we experience in as humans is a lot to do with like sex magic and tantric, and understanding the energetic portals that are there. So I do get the impression that you have deities that are from those realms, and they either want you to get comfortable with that, or either you are already comfortable with that, and this is confirmation. You're probably saying comfortable with what? Comfortable with your own independence, your own sexual identity, and your own sexuality. Whatever your sex ID is, whatever you identify as. Some of you, it might be coming out, some of you, out of a closet, so to speak. Quotes around that. All right, so just owning personal identity. This is definitely you have spiritual godparents, number 3, that are very much from a more chaotic realm. I'm not sensing as much primordial. They are very chaotic though. They do predate humanity, of course. And when I say chaotic, I don't mean that they're wild and they're everywhere. No, they disrupt things. So a little bit of the trickster energy, they do disrupt things, so that way you can, I don't know, they like to have fun. They just like to have fun. I don't know. So let's get the masculine energy for number 3. Who are their masculine spiritual godparents? Ooh, Oshumare. Give me one more for the masculine energy. See, this one came out before and then it went back. So let's look at this in order. So the first card down we have is Oshumare. What I'm feeling immediately with Oshumare is that serpent energy. And it's as if, you see how the serpent, he has his tongue sticking out. It's giving me the impression that it's like liberation. Because the tongue can symbolize, the tongue, but the snake can symbolize many things. And a lot of times when we see the symbology of animals, we're just looking at the animal, but it's important to look at the position in which the animal is depicted in the totem or in the image. In this image, our snake is coiled up at the bottom. So that is giving me the impression that something at the bottom, there might be like a tightness or a resistance to your lower nature, to the lower parts of your soul that wants to be fed. Again, my nose is itchy. You know, growing up when I was a kid, I had a friend. She used to say, when somebody sneezes while you're saying something, that means you're telling the truth. And I've heard that a few times in the Black communities, like when someone sneezes in the middle of you saying something about a situation or a person, like that means that you're telling the truth. So let me know if that's something that you've heard before, or any superstitions you've heard about sneezing, or like itchy noses. Okay. Anyhow, the coil at the bottom does make me feel like there is some lower level resistance. When I say lower level, I just mean the lower energies. Let's put it in chakra form. We're talking about the solar plexus, the sacral chakra, and also the root chakra. Sacral and root rule the divine feminine and masculine sexual energies, or reproduction organs, I should say, or both. And when you see here, like how the snake, he has his tongue sticking out, it's as if there's some type of liberation that wants to happen. So I feel as if your spiritual godparent is one that is very, very expressive. They're very liberated. They come from a realm where, like, again, chaos is able to exist there, but it's not chaos for the sake of chaos. It's a realm in which you are able to kind of exist free. A lot of things go. There's not a lot of rules, and it's kind of contrary because Oshimare in European tradition is one of the creator deities. So you would kind of associate that with a deity that might be more strict in their rules. But with the way that, this rainbow is coming up behind it, it also kind of gives me the impression, like, and this is not for, I'm not trying to plant seeds on anyone's head or like force any ideologies on them or imply anything. Remember, I do not know you. Okay. But this does also reinforce LGBTQ plus. Okay. I feel that for many of you who might have picked this group, you are at a point in your life where you are exploring your sexuality a little bit more. And some of these godparents, I should say, at least this masculine energy, he is here to like help you to do so. It almost feels like, and I don't want to say this word to scare y'all off, because we don't even really, like, if you only knew what the devil really was, but it almost feels like the devil part of you, the devil really meaning the double nature, the dualistic nature, because you incarnate with both shadow and light in your consciousness. So it feels like the devil part of your nature that is very connected to you. So if I could say, if you had a spiritual godparent, the first one that I'm noticing is not really one that's so much outside of yourself. I feel like your first spiritual godparent is the double part of your lower nature. It's the shadow part of your own nature. I didn't channel this for any other group. It's the most absurd. It's like the most bizarre thing I've ever channeled ever. But you have a deity that you create. Oh, because you're so mentally strong. So do you know how to create magical beings? Are you one of those people who know how to do that? Do you know how to create magical deities? Because you created a magical, maybe you did this subconsciously, but you created a magical shadow being that is here to help you liberate yourself. Like, just find liberation, especially in your sexual identity and exploration. So maybe you know what you are into and you know your sexual ID, but you're more so wanting to enrich your love life, enrich your intimacy life, enrich your intimate experiences. So maybe it looks a little bit like that, but nonetheless, you created, that's why it's coiled at the bottom and expressed up. You may have spoken this deity into existence. So masculine energy we have here, another one, 2 of air. So what they're telling me is that you have twin brothers. These are twins. This is a twin brother. Again, kind of goes with that double, right? We were talking about a second ago, but this is not the same energy. You have a divine masculine spiritual godparent that is a double. So they come as twins. They're taking me to a Norse mythology where there are two brothers. I believe they are Odin's sons, and they are fighting. They like, I don't remember their names, but they are fighting. If you know that story, please enlighten the classroom, enlighten the group, enlighten all of us if this is a part of your culture. I do feel like here you have like these twin entities, and if you have a particular culture on your ancestry where there are twin beings, there usually are twin beings in everyone, then this is the impression I'm getting, that there are two masculine, whether they're twins or they are brothers, there are two entities that work in tandem. Like their energy has to work together. They cannot be separated. They are not separated. They're essentially twins that cannot be separated. Okay. This also gives me like the impression of the caduceus, the coil and the caduceus with the snake that you would see in like a healing space. So it does feel as if these brothers bring a lot of healing into your life, a lot of healing into your love life, ironically enough, and a lot of healing into you. I'm not looking at the gifts that you were born with yet, but it does feel like you have a gift of physical healing. So do you heal faster than most people do? I'm curious. So our third card for masculine energy we have here is the Nine of Earth. Well, if you notice, right, they don't want to show us their face, this being. And it does feel like this is a being that is around you to help you plant your legacy seeds. So are you working on something that is legacy worthy? Meaning, are you very focused on building wealth that lasts multiple generations, or are you working on something that serves your community that you want to be ushered forward in history? Do you want to be a part of history? Do you want to be a part of a wall of fame? Are you someone who is working on something so grand that you want an imprint left behind on human recognition? This is not a small energy. Not saying that small energy is like bad and big energy is good. It's whatever the soul wants. There's no better or worse, because if your soul did it in this lifetime, maybe the next lifetime your soul will do something big or small. So it doesn't matter. This is about like big energy though. This is a big soul mission. This is a big choice. This is a big decision. These are multiple seeds being planted. So this godparent feels like they are someone who works behind the scenes. They're the whisper in your ear. I do get a bit of an angelic appearance. I'm getting like someone who was an earth angel. Okay, hold on. Okay, so this spiritual godparent was a godfather. Okay, obviously. Let me listen. Okay, so, all right. You know how there are some beings that incarnated, and there were a lot of ascended masters that came through. Wow. Note to self. Okay, so this is someone who's similar to an ascended master. So there are some people who lived, and they lived in human form in some stories and some myths and some spiritual beliefs, right? Traditions. We tell folklore. We tell the story that some beings were human, and then they did so well in human life that they crossed over and they became some type of angelic celestial helper to other humans. Example one is Kuan Yin. Another example would be the Buddha. The Buddha was incarnated. He was a prince, and then he did such good deeds that he is now venerated to God level. Another example is there is a Chinese general who works with the Jade Emperor. That's another example. And the final example I could give you, well, would be Jesus Christ, right? I think that's the strongest example we can give. Also, Muhammad, all right? These are beings, these are people who walk this earth. They sweat, they blood. Even Metatron was human and then became, also think of demigods, Heracles or Hercules. He was human and then was accepted into the walls or the halls of the gods. So this is someone who walked the earth. This is very important because sometimes we have, and listen to this, okay? Number 3, because I had some trouble channeling with some of your guides, and like now it's like the channel is open, okay? Sometimes we get guides who never walked earth. They walked with us maybe in different dimensions and different incarnations, but they didn't walk the earth. They never themselves were flesh. So they give us guidance, but sometimes they don't fully know about the human experience. They only know it vicariously through us. You have a benefit here because you have a guide who has walked the earth. They do know what it feel like to be backed up when you got to really take a donkey dunk dunk. They understand what it's like to menstruate. They understand what it's like to sweat and be all stank. And I say these things not to be nasty because remember, you do have this number 3, like these guys, they're vulgar. So I'm like trying to clean it up. But I'm giving you these lower examples or lesser examples of the human experience because that's just that. Those are the lesser parts of the human experience, and they went through that. Imagine like going to a war and like who you shared that trench with. They fucking really get it. Okay, and I'm not saying the other guides don't get it. Oh my gosh, they do, and they're amazing at their jobs. Shout out to all the spirit guides out there. Shout out to all the angels and guardians. Shout out to all of them. What I'm saying to you is this: you are blessed with a guide who walked the earth. They understand the rough parts of it, and they're able to better connect with the real, like here's a real plan that you can probably use that feels more grounded, because I remember what it's like to be human, the desires and the things that are tricky about navigating the human experience. So this is I'm not getting a name, but they walked this earth a long time ago, and they did say, I did hear that they said that you know them from a mythology that you've read. So you've read a book, you've read a story about this being before, this God before. You've read about them before. It was one of the stories that really stuck out to you. So whether that was in the Bible but you've read about them before. Let's get the feminine. So who are the feminine godparents for number 3? Who are the divine feminine godparents for number 3? Give me one more, please. Thank you. Wow, that one shot across the room. Okay, I have to flip this one over because first off, you have to, because this one was turned upside down, so it brought to my attention, but you have 2 Egyptian goddesses. So there's something with Kemet, there's something with ancient Egypt that might be connected to you, or Phoenician, Babylonian, Mesopotamian, something, but it does feel very Kemetic. Yeah. All right. So let's look at this in order. The first goddess that we had that was down was Rhiannon. She's a sorceress. She says here, you are a magical person who can manifest your clear intentions into reality. Now, wasn't that the first channeled message that we said that there's something about the way your mental power is, that you can step into that subconscious realm? And she is in the dark. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, she's outside in the dark here, Miss Rhiannon. She is not outside in the light. There's something about the way you can clearly and fast, you have a wicked mental game. Not bad, not wicked bad, wicked good, I'm from Boston. I'm not from Boston, but as if I am from Boston. That's what they say out there. Wicked good. So I'm from Jersey, by the way, but I love Boston. Shout out to Boston. Amazing food in Boston. Some of the funniest people. Vulgar, but funny. Anyhow, what I do notice here is that this divine feminine, she is, it could either be Rhiannon herself, but it's a divine feminine being who is all about magic. Like, she helps you with your magic. So when you are working on spells, when you're working on your prayers, when you're working on your letters of manifestation, when you're like getting these downloads for ways to fine tune your magic, that's her. So this is a spiritual godparent that is very she's very almost elven like, but not an elf. She's giving, okay, all right, so she's saying that she is a Pleiadian sorceress of some sort. Okay, so and there's something that happens to the left side of your body or your face. You either feel something like on your arm, your face, your temple, your mouth. Like, she makes your jaw or something go numb or tingle. So she's more of like a Pleiadian on the left. Again, there's something with the left. She's a Pleiadian figure that you work with and you channel when you are doing your manifestations and your spiritual work. Next, we had Bast. She says your independence is a foundation for your strength and success. Now, didn't we say that you were working on something that has a lot to do with longevity? But we'll get to that. This energy feels very quite protector. I'm hearing that this is the goddess that protects your money. Is this a very wealthy group? And if you're not, I feel that you will have long-term wealth. I didn't say that to any other group. I either feel like you have a lot of money now, and I'm not trying to be in your pocket. Like, hey, so since you have a lot of money, you want to book a reading? By the way, I am available for readings if you're interested. But in all seriousness, I do feel like this is a group that has strong financial aspirations, and already your bank accounts, your finances are already very well structured. As a result of this goddess here, she protects your independence. So she protects what allows you to be an independent mind, an independent thinker, an independent mover, and also just financially independent. If you identify as a very highly independent person, a lot of that is to do with the appearance of this goddess. And again, she has a lot of cat energy around her, and cats are quite independent. Yeah, they can depend on us for this and that, but there are more cats out. There are more wild cats in the wild than there are wild dogs in the wild. There are wolves, but wolves move in packs. You have jaguars, you have cheetahs, you also have panthers and tigers who are all solitary animals. Okay, so not to give a whole lesson on cats, I'm just saying that there's something about you. And what other solitary animals there are pre-positioned? Not to go on a whole zoology lesson. I just mean that to identify that you can be very resilient in independent spaces. That means working independently. You might work better as an independent than with a team dynamic in work environments. But you're very much so a leader. You're very much so a boss. She helps you with understanding that you are a leader and that you are a boss, whether that's in how you dress, how you appear, how you speak. Like, again, you speak like you're not different just for the sake of being different. Like, you really inherently want to do your own thing, and God damn it, you're going to do it. I want to do my own shit. I'm going to do my thing. I'm doing my thing. This is my thing. You got your thing. They got their thing. And if our thing is the same thing, great. We could do our thing together, but I'm still doing my thing. And it doesn't mean stubborn, even though with the bullhorns that I saw coming up in the first sight for your reading, you might be a little stubborn from time to time, but it's more so about you honoring your independence. And then we have Abundancia. Abundancia is giving the impression that, again, with money, prosperity, you have a lot of it flowing in, a lot of opportunities. And money and prosperity, if it's not in the actual form of money. It's in the form of like opportunities, whether you're seizing them or not. You have a lot of opportunities that just kind of fall into your lap. We can call it luck, but I don't feel like it's as like clear as like a luck energy as it was with the last group. This feels more like you are really good at receiving. Again, going back to manifesting. Number 3, you are the strongest manifester of the groups today. You're really good at manifesting. You're really good at receiving. You're really good at setting the tone. You're really good at letting it pour into you. You're really good at knowing that it's coming. You're really good at faith and knowing. Ooh. If you are a healer or in a healer space, teach a workshop on faith and knowing. Developing true faith and knowing. Okay? Teach a workshop on that, or perhaps that is a note to self. Hopefully you get to it before me, because you feel like you really have a lock on this. And this also connects to that legacy. I feel like this goddess here, this divine feminine spirit, you have women, godparents that want to protect your ability to be an independent person. So if you're a woman and you're like, yeah, I identify as woman, like you got independent women that want to help an independent woman, basically in the ethereal. And with this Rhiannon, or this, I should say, kind of Pleiadian figure coming in, it's like your magic and your money are very tied together. I usually feel more around like love, but the love protection came more from like the masculine side with the twins, but the women or the divine feminine energies, they seem to be very much so about their coin. Okay, they're about you having your coin, like coin. So let's see some of the things that the blessings that you've received. So again, you do have a goddess of wealth and abundance that is a spiritual godparent to you. She is a golden goddess as well. Some of you who have altars, placing more gold on your altar, so fake gold coins or real gold coins, gold jewelry, just anything gold pairing will increase that flow if you work with altars. And if not, decoratively, not within good taste. If you're doing it decoratively, you don't want your house to look, I mean, you can have your house like however you want, but you don't want it to look tacky. I feel like too much gold could be like a little tacky if you're decorating your home. Or maybe I'm wrong. No, maybe I'm wrong. Like if done right, anything could look great. So there's something about gold and you. All right. So let's get some of the things that you are inherently blessed with by having these spiritual godparents. And then we're going to close out your reading by pulling a random deity from my encyclopedia of spirits. I did it for every other group. I'm going to do it for you too. Hold on. I have like some coffee under my fingernail. Okay. So what are some of the things that number 3 have inherited? Let's get one more. Okay. Bottom of the deck, we had the 5 of Swords, and here we have the 5 of Wands. So the first thing that I'm feeling that you have naturally inherited is like protection over the things that you create. That might sound a little bit general, so let me narrow it down. So protection over your children, that's something you create. Protection over your projects. So if like, it also feels like protection from theft. Some of the things that you might have naturally is like you don't have, or if you ever were stolen from, like the repercussions were dire for the person. But I feel like you have this protection around you. You're protected from harmful people, harmful environments, harmful circumstances. We did say with Umbundancha that she's the goddess of opportunities, or you have a goddess of opportunities that oversees you. So that goes both ways, right, y'all? It's not like, oh, I get all the opportunities, I receive it, but also like sometimes you might want something and you don't receive it because that's again the protection. So you have this ill receiving game, but it's like not ill as in bad. Like you have this super dope receiving game that you can receive easily, but you like if it's not aligned for you, you're so protected that you don't receive it. You're not the person that has to learn a lot of hard lessons. You just kind of are protected from harsh lessons in life. And not saying that you've never learned a hard lesson in your life, you've had an easy life. No, it just feels as if they like these godparents, they're like, maybe in other lifetimes though, you're like your soul went through far worse hardships. So in this lifetime, they're like, you know what, we don't want you to have to learn those lessons this time around, not that harshly. So don't take it as a bad thing. You have here the 10 of Cups. I had the 10 of Cups come out for a different group, so I'm going to get another card as well. But I will channel that with the 10 of Cups, something that you are receiving, coming out with the Knight of Wands, 3 of Pentacles at the bottom. It's like, I want it, I got it. So it does feel like there is no limit to what you can have. You see how both of their arms are projected up, and like it feels like you can have everything you want. You can have the family, you can have the boat, you can have the yacht, you can have the private butler, you can have really anything that you want. You can have, like, you can have it all. You are in this lifetime very blessed to receive a lot. So I'm being told that the more you pray or the more that you ask and request, like, don't have limits. And this is for anybody, but for you, number 3, this is the message that's really coming through. Maybe you have blockages from asking, but they're like, ask more, ask to receive more, because whatever you want, you're going to get. There's something about a special anointing on your life in this lifetime where you are being spoiled a little bit more than you were in prior lifetimes by the universe, whether that is you're spoiled more with knowledge and wisdom, so therefore you know how to use the energy to create faster than others, or you're actually just spoiled more with receiving opportunities, receiving blessings, receiving money, receiving things in your hand, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't. All right, sure, let's do it. So there is a lot of that where it's, when I say you want it, you got it, I don't just mean that lightly. I really mean like whatever you want, you got. You have a blessing, an anointment over your life in this lifetime to get things a little bit more easy than others. And I want you to measure your life and see. And I usually would never say that because I hate when people do that, because it robs you from the joy the minute you start looking at somebody else's cup, but the joy of living your own experience. But there's something about, if you need to put that into perspective, look at how like how long sometimes it might take other people to figure something out, or to get something, or get somewhere, not literally, but maybe literally driving somewhere also. Something with parking spots too. Like they say that you get good parking spots. Okay. Wow, the Chariot. Look at that duality that we were talking about, and that twin nature. So you have the blessing of dual nature. You have the blessing of duality. You have the blessing of being able to work with dark and light magic. Not everybody has that blessing. Some people are only here to work in light magic, or only here to experience dark magic. But you have the blessing of working in both realms. You understand easily how duality needs to exist in spaces. That could be why you're such a good manifester. You also have the blessing in your career. There's an anointment. I don't use the word anointment. So there's something with this word that they really want you to know. I don't use the word anointment. It's not a word that I use. But there is an anointment over your life. There is an anointment over your career. There's an anointment over your profession. There's an anointment over your business, whatever you do. Professionally, there's an anointment over it. Oh yeah, because you're the group that was building that legacy, right? Yeah, that makes sense. Like there's my stomach is growling. Like you're hungry for this. Holy smokes, you're hungry for this. Like look at all these stars. You have a lot of like celestial supporters that are rooting for you. You just send it down to do this thing. That whatever that thing is you're leaving, a part of your legacy, that's why you have this anointment We're running over a little bit more extra for you, number 3, but let's get your random deity here. Okay, and thank you, number 3, so much for being here. This was really great, like channeling your energy. It took me into a lot of spaces I've never been before during channels. And I want to invite you to my Instagram. I do have a TikTok that I am launching, so please join me there. On Instagram, we talk all things astrology, and I am helping you with those monthly energetic resets, helping you to understand what's going on in your life. People are loving those readings over there. And on TikTok, what I'll soon have up, because I don't know if I'll have any videos up by the time we post this, but on my TikTok, you will find spiritual motivation. We're channeling ancestral messages, and you'll get to see me a little bit more behind the scenes on Instagram and TikTok, as opposed to just my hands here. Okay, so how we're going to do this is we're going to just go to the back of the book, and we're going to just go like this, and whoever we land on is going to be the deity that we land on. Stop. Okay, who is it? Let's see if I can feel where they are. They're not over here. Oof, okay. Right here, Charis or Ceres. Okay, so what I got here was Ceres or Charis. Okay, so it says here, and this is where I'm reading, guys, just so you can see. Charis, also known as Ceres. The Charis, and excuse me if I'm mispronunciating, everybody. The Charis are a band of fierce, frightening female justice spirits. They are the entourage and servants of the goddess Kar. The Charis administer punishment and justice, but not gently. They are vampiric spirits who leave death in their wake. They cause plagues and epidemics and drag bodies from battlefields. Greek myth describes the Charis as Kar's sisters. She is the eldest. They are described as the daughters of Nyx. The manifestation, Charis are described as dressed in red. Whether this is in a red fabric or whether their clothes are stained red with the blood is subject to interpretation. Homer called them the hounds of Hades. Whether this was meant literally, whether like Hecate, they actually manifest as dogs, is unknown but possible. Although their names are similar, the Charis are not identical to the Italian grain goddess, whose entry is found under Ceres. So also related is Hecate and Hades and Arrhenius. That is a very strong, and I'll leave the book here so you can kind of see it, but I just want to kind of conclude on that for you, number 3. Those are very strong protector beings around you. And when I was feeling that you have these protectors around you that protect your independence, they protect your ability to be an independent person in this world, like your finances, they protect your mindset. Like, I just sensed a lot of no bullshit, and I did feel that there was a lot of bad, if there's bad energy projected towards you, that your enemies do absorb that quite, I used the word before, dire. So I mean, who better than an army or legion of vampiric, fierce, feminine warriors around you to protect you? I don't know. Number 3, this was an interesting read. Thank you for spending as much time as you did with me, and I'm going to check you next time. Bye.